Good morning, beautiful yogis. We are here in Ventura's Buddhist Study Centre on Lac Mission. And this morning we're going to focus on some beginner's yoga. So let's close our eyes, turn our palms upwards, rest your hands on your legs, and just start to take some long, deep breaths. You can sit any way that you're comfortable. Sit on a block or on some pillows, cross your legs, or sit in this pose, Virasana pose. If this is very difficult for you, you could just take a block and slip it in underneath, closing the knees, bringing yourself a little taller. Some of you may be able to sit on the ground in between your feet. Practice looking each side to see the soles of the feet and the toes pointing towards the back of the mat. So already, as you practice this little pose, you are a hero for your own body and mind. Breathing in peace and breathing out any fear. Taking a longer, deeper breath now, noticing the sound of the breath and the feel of the breath on the inside of the body. And when you exhale, how does it feel when the lungs are completely empty? Give yourself permission to be here right now. And then slowly open your eyes, look down at your hands, and think about any work you've done since you've last done your yoga, and offer that work up. Clasping your hands together. This morning we're going to press the air away out in front of us and bring the upper arms back into your shoulders. Squeeze the fingers, keeping the arms nice and straight. Take the arms all the way up. And then just tilt over to the right, resting your head on your right arm. Look up at the ceiling. We'll come back to center. Squeeze the fingers, rest the head on the other arm. Just tilt over there a little bit to the left, look up. And then come back. Good. Squeezing the fingers. We're going to switch the cross of the hands. Take a different finger first, squeeze. Now press the ceiling up. Press the floor down with your legs and drop your head all the way back and drop your head all the way forward. And do that a few times just to make sure there's no tension showing up in the neck. And then drop your head all the way back. Look up at the ceiling and open your eyes as wide as you can, as though you had seen yourself for the very first time. And then relax your eyes, relax everything in your face, and slowly we'll take our head back to neutral, squeeze the upper arms towards your ears, and release, open out, all the way down. Great, we're going to touch the floor each side, lift up tall, take that right hand to the left side, left hand behind, lift and twist. So remember that ritual that you might have at the beginning of your practice. Doing the same few little poses, bringing your mind and your body together. And then we'll release, we'll come back for a breath, fill yourself up. And on the exhale, switch. Left hand over and right hand behind. Lift, twist, turn. Lift, twist, turn. All the way around. And then release. We come back to center and straighten out the legs. So when you're going to start practicing yoga, pick a time in the day. Maybe you won't have a full hour or hour and a half, like we usually do. You might only have 15 minutes. So pick a few poses that you love to do and one challenging one. Let's place the hand down. If you just have those 15 minutes, challenge yourself just a little bit. So this is Dandasana pose. Imagine there's a 90-degree angle in your hips. The armpit chest lifted. The top of the head is lifting the crown of the head up into the sky. Feet are pressing out, the knees are pressing down. Your whole body feels alive. And then release. When we release, see all of the little muscles that we're working. It's like deflating a balloon. So now take the inside of our knees, one at a time. We'll pull them back. This keeps the hips nice and relaxed. We're going to take our feet like this, and we're going to take a block this morning and put the block between our feet. Take your fingers behind and push your feet into the block. And if you don't have a block, you could get a big book somewhere that you might have at home. We used to use those big old telephone books. We had one of them, or two of them, and tape them together. Thanks. And then take your block away and we pull the feet together, pushing the feet together. Now take this left hand all the way around behind your back, and with your right hand hold your right femur. We're spinning it around and holding it a little bit to the floor. Feel this lower right belly lifted up to your left. So I'm the opposite to you because I'm your mirror. We're going to switch and release. We hold that left femur, spin it around, hold it down. Now this lower left belly lifting up and out. Long, slow, deep breaths. Anytime you come across a tight place, breathe into it. And then release. Now come to your feet and open the feet up like a book. Spread out the toes, press the heels together. Your elbows might lean down on your legs just to increase the little stretch in the groin. And then close your feet, pull the heels in, wrap your hands around, thread the rib cage forward, lift up nice and tall. Again, feel the crown of the head lifting into the beautiful morning sunshine. Feel your sit bones rooting down into the cool soil below you. Good. Notice how nice it is to breathe now. The back is tall, the knees are dropping. We're going to squeeze and lift the pelvic floor up just once. Just lift it up and leave it up there. Pull your belly button in slightly. Maybe drop your chin a tiny bit. Feel a gathering, a meeting place deep inside. And then release, lifting your head. Relax your belly, relax your pelvic floor, and release your feet. So here we're just going to take this right foot and bring it across the mat a wee bit. And with your little block or your phone book, we'll prop up the tip of that right knee. And then take this left leg and just shake it a little bit. And then take the outside of this left heel to the inside of the right knee. Just hold that just for a moment. And then maybe take your block out of there. See if you want to go a little deeper. If it starts to feel like pain, then you're going to stop. If it feels uncomfortable, you're going to explore that. And if it feels like nothing, then go deeper. Good. And we'll release, we'll come back, and we're going to switch that. We'll take that top one to the bottom, prop up your left knee. It's just the outside. Just a little support system there. And some of you may be very flexible, you won't need that. We're going to take the outside of this right heel over to the inside of the left knee. Just pause. Where does it show up? What feels tight? Breathe towards that. And then maybe we'll take the block away, maybe not. So you're just looking for a little deeper pose. You want it to feel like something. If it feels like nothing, you're not deep enough. And if it feels like you're going to cry, then you went too far. Don't want to cry. Good. And release. Okay, and then go back to Dandasana for a moment. So we wake up the hips, wake up the shoulders, and we're going to go over there to the wall now. We have a little bit of work to do with the wall. So I want you to bring your mat, and if you have any kind of a belt, you can bring that as well. So find a wall. A wall is great for doing yoga. It's going to be very, very helpful. So we're going to put our mat long ways like this with the narrow edge to the wall. And then you're going to take your belt and you're going to stand in front of the wall, and you're going to, now I'm going to do the same leg as you. Now I'm not your mirror, now I'm the same as you and the same as Supradhara. You want to lift the foot and see how long your leg is. So it might take a few times, and then when you figure it out, you're going to put that belt around your right foot and take your right foot up onto the wall. So we want to stay tall here, and you don't need your leg up very high, just so that you're getting a nice stretch in the back of the right leg. Now here's a little trick. When you look down at this foot, you want the toes on the bottom foot to face the wall. And then hold your belt, lift up tall, press your right heel into the wall and breathe. Good. Now, we usually start doing this on the floor, but this morning we just want to explore this, different ways to stretch those hamstrings. And then release and switch. So you've already measured. When you look down, you want to make sure that that bottom heel is coming straight down from the hip. No slant in the legs. And then we'll take that left leg up. Check that bottom leg. So just hold Supradhara for a moment. So you see here, Supradhara's leg is a little too far out. I'm going to get you to step that right foot closer to the wall. Yeah, let's try it there. Toes pointing towards the wall. And then it's going to be not only easier, but better alignment. Lift the armpit chest, lift the sternum towards the ceiling and pull on the belt, push the heel into the wall and release. Good, so there's that one. So we've got the same measurement for the second one. So the second one, we're going to turn the standing foot in the opposite direction, and we're going to put the belt around that right foot and take the right foot up on the wall. And now when we look down, this bottom heel is still coming out from the hip. The right heel is driving into the wall. We can reach out with that left hand, maybe turn, look out into the room. Sometimes we can take this hand around, see if we can catch the top of that right leg, and then look into the room. Good. So when we find the right alignment, it's all going to be much easier. Lift and twist. Open. Open out into the center of the room. Push the right heel into the wall. Turn, turn, turn. Gaze at one spot. And I know you're smiling behind us. And release. Great. That very same thing. So we have that measurement. We turn and face the other wall. We belt up that left foot. We're going to take the left foot up onto the wall. So see what the measurement was. We want the hips to be straightened. We want them to stretch and work. Look down, make sure that right foot now is below the hip. The left heel pushing into the wall. Right hand out into the room, and then maybe take that right arm up around behind. You could catch the clothing on the left leg. Lift and twist. Good. Lift and twist. That left kidney flying up towards the front of the right shoulder. Lift and twist. And release. Great. Good. So now we're going to turn. We throw our belt off there. And your heels can be a couple of inches from the wall. And see if you can get your hips to touch the wall and your shoulder blades, and find your hand and slide it in there. It's that big gap in your lower back. See that big gap? Yeah? Now press your lower back against your hand. Reduce the arch, drop your lower back, lift the pit of your belly. Hold that and take your hands up. Good. Reach up. Can you put the palms of your hands on the wall? Internally rotate your arms. And then release. So now we're going to reach out And we're going to just put our heels up on the wall. Place your hands, heels up on the wall. And we're going to do downward facing dog, just like this. Pushing down into the floor, the heels are up on the wall. Spread the shoulder blades. Long, slow, deep breaths. So of course, this is a very important pose. Just notice anything that's struggling. See if you can externally rotate your upper arms, internally rotate the lower arms. Press the hands down, spread out into the fingers. Take the hips closer to the wall. Open the back of the knees. And then come up high on the toes, float down on your knees, and just hold on your hands and knees like that. Drop your head. Good. So you might have noticed that your body kind of liked that, huh? So use the wall. Use the wall. I'm going to do it again. Reach back, get your heels, just your heels. You don't have to have the whole foot on the wall, just the heels. And lift the hips. Push down into the earth. Spread out the back of the legs. Good. Long, long, long breaths here. Good. And release. Come up high on the toes, float down on your knees. And this time we'll open the knees wide, let your toes touch in. See if you can sit back on your heels and reach your hands towards the front of the room. But keep your elbows lifted. You're going to push down and into your fingers to stretch back into your lower back and into your bottom. Try and sit on your heels. And then after a moment, maybe then release your arms, but see if you can still stay sitting on your heels. Rest. Good. Okay, now we're going to come back up. This time, walk your hands forward and walk your feet away from the wall. We're going to inhale, look up, bend the knees, and on the exhale, step forward with your right foot. And slide the back knee back. Good. Now hold that. I'm going to get you a block or a phone book or a big book. Or you got one. Good. So you have your right foot in front, right? And I'm going to be doing the same as you for now. Right foot in front. Press that right heel down. Lift the right toes. Lean back. And then release. We'll come forward. Now lift the back knee. Turn the back toes. Lift the back knee. We're going to step this left foot back there. Back to downward facing. Inhale, look up. Bend your knees. Step up with your right foot. Come down onto your left knee, but then slide the left knee back. Dropping the hips towards the front of the mat, lifting and opening the chest. And then press that left heel down, lift the left toes, lean back. Pressing the heel down. And release. Good. Come forward, turn the back toes, lift that back knee. Now we're going to step the back foot to the front of the mat. And we're going to arrive here in Uttanasana, forward fold. So you can hold on to your elbows, lift them up over your head, and then fold down over the legs, pulling the elbows towards the floor, dropping your head, long deep breath. And then just swing a little bit. Get a little motion in there. And then you might switch the cross of your arms and swing again. Good. And then drop your hands to the floor. See if you can line up your fingers and your toes. Now when you're beginning yoga, and you may not have done this for a while, your hands might be up here. So you could use your block. Or you could just place your hands on your shins. But you're going to work it every day. Do the pose little bit by little bit. You'll be able to lay down on the front of the legs. I'm going to take our hands to our hips, press into your feet, and inhale, come back up. Okay, so we're going to now do a few standing poses because it's standing week. So the first one we're going to do, we're going to put that left heel at the wall and step the right foot out into the room. So we have our mats this way when we do these first. Good. Left hand on the wall behind, right hand out into the room. Now here, all we're going to do is start to bend that right knee. You want to keep your spine nice and straight, and you may need to walk your foot further out and just start to bend that right knee. We're going to work on keeping the back leg straight. And then turn, gaze out over the right hand. We're going to try and line up your chin with your inner elbow and bend that right knee. Keep your back hand on the wall. And because it's beginners, we don't hold it very long. Sometimes we call it level 1, right? We're going to straighten that front knee, relax your arm, turn your foot, and we'll switch sides. So of course this is one of our warrior poses. Back heel on the wall. Good. Now it's your left leg out in front. I'm not your mirror at the moment. Place your back hand on the wall. Front hand out. And just keeping the spine nice and straight, we're going to exhale and bend that front knee. Bend, bend, bend. Come down, trying to make a 90-degree angle in that front knee. Back leg is straight. Send the mind into the body. Make everything pay attention for you. And turn. The last thing, let the eyes settle on one thing. Can you hear your breath? Can you feel the breath on the inside? Breathe. Good. And then straightening that front leg, come back up, turning and stepping the feet together. Good. Okay, we're going to move on. So we're going to take a block and put that in front. And you're going to step I am now your mirror again. So you're going to step your right foot out. You be the mirror too, Suthadara, because I'm not facing you. You're going to do the same as me. We are both your mirror. So right leg in front, and you're going to put a block outside that right ankle. So now we're going to take this left arm, right hand on the right hip, and reach out. Good. Reach out, reach out. You're going to take that left hand and place it across there on that block. Now this back heel, press that back heel into the wall, press your left hand into the block and turn your shoulders. Turn the shoulders, turn the shoulders. And then the last thing, if you feel stable, you're going to take that right arm up into the sky. Push down into the left hand, reach up into the right hand. Now to come out of it, come out the same way. Drop that right hand to your right hip. Relax the shoulders, turn towards the floor, and then push into your feet and come back up. Good, so that's a twisted triangle. Parivrita, Theta Trikonasana. Now it's your left foot in front. Take your block to the outside. This is my morning frog. I'm not sick. So back heel pushing into the wall, hands on the hips. So now remember, on the opposite to you, find your right hand and take your right hand out. And then keep reaching out, reaching out. You're going to keep this left hip moving to the back wall. Reach way out, way out. Right hand now, place it on that block. Push down into the block to twist the shoulders. Turn the vertebrae. Keep this left hip moving to the wall. Keep the back leg straight. Now you could stay there or see what it feels like to lift the left hand. Turn the shoulders. Back knee straight. Turn, turn, turn. Good. And then drop that hand back to that hip. Press into your feet. Turn towards the floor. And then come back up. Great. Okay. So that was twisted triangle. Oh, yes. She just has a great idea, but would it be strong enough to press on? It was full. It was full. A box of tissues, and we have plenty of tissues going around now, right? A box of tissues is the same size. A full one maybe could be a helper. So we're going to take our mats now, and we're going to turn them wide ways. So we're now moving again, and we're going to use this wall in a different way. So you can see how the wall can be your great friend in yoga. It's like a yoga teacher in your house. So you're going to bring your mat all the way to the very edge. Let's see, have we got enough space there? Okay. So now I'm doing my right leg again. Actually, I should be their mirror, shouldn't I? We're both going to be the mirror. Okay, so standing on the center of your mat, you have a block. We're going to bend our knees and step our feet out nice and wide. Ball is here. We're going to lift this back left heel and turn the left toes towards the right. And then turn your right leg to the right. So both legs are turned to the right. Good. Now you're going to take this block and you're going to keep it between your foot and the wall. So that's the distance your feet are going to be from the wall. But you're going to try and lay against the wall in this pose. We're going to exhale over that right side. Reach way out, way out, way out, and then turn. Right hand to the block and left hand to the sky. And then lay against the wall. So here we can really explore the triangle pose. The shape, the feel of it. The wall can be one half of the pose. Press into the wall, keeping all of those joints in alignment. See if you can get a little bit of movement in that top hip. Push that top hip back towards the wall. Good. Pull that right knee up. Push into the back heel. And then inhale, come back up. Good. And we'll do the other side. So nice way we could lift the block over our head. Hold it in the other hand as we step our feet apart. We're turning both legs now. The turn actually happens up in the hips. Exhale over that left side. We're taking the block and putting it between our foot and the wall. Good. Good. So we're going to reach out, place the hand on the block, push down, and then take your right hand up. Lay against the wall. Long, deep breaths. Let your body enjoy the feeling of everything coming together in a lovely way. How the body works with the wall, how the mind works with the body, how the breath ties it all together. Go on, see if you can bring that top hip closer to the wall. Good. And release. Inhale and come back up. Turn and step the feet together. Okay, so that's triangle pose. Very nice pose, very good for your lower back especially. If you have back pain, this one's really good. So now we're going to do that same pose and we're going to step up into half moon pose. Okay, have you enough room there, Susan?
Yeah.
Good, okay. All right, so I'm going to talk you through it first and then we'll all do it together. So what I want you to do, I'm just going to talk you through it. We're going to step the feet apart like we did. We'll turn to the right. We'll reach over and we'll find ourselves arriving in triangle. And then we're going to bend the front knee. This is speed yoga, the first one, and then we'll do it slower. We're just going to take our block out and reach the back leg up. Okay, so we're going to do that again. Okay, we start out doing the triangle part and then we're going to step up. Okay, bend the knees. Every part to get to that lovely place is important. We're lining up the pose, turning, exhale over that right side, place your hand on the block, come completely into the triangle. Good, now do as best of a triangle shape as you can. Then bend the front knee. Now we're going to sneak this block out. Try to keep that connection with the wall. We're going to reach out about 12 to 18 inches in front. And as you do that, lift the back leg and reach up into the top half. Turn, if you can, look up at the ceiling. But if your neck is tight, it's okay to look straight ahead. If that still doesn't work, you can look at the floor. But eventually, you'll feel confident enough to look up. And the drishti will be up at this thumb. Now the drishti is our focal point, where we focus the eyes. Good. So it's a balanced pose, but because we have our friend the wall, we can stay a little longer and get the benefits. To come out of it, you're just going to bend the standing leg, reach back into this back foot, and let yourself come back with the block. Straighten the front knee for a breath, and then come back up. Good, let's step the feet together. So they're two lovely little poses that like to hang out together. All right, so I'm going to do the same now on the other side. And I'm going to watch your Ardha Chandrasana this time. Did we have a full moon last night? No? It's kind of bright up there. Okay, well anyway, we're going to go see the other side of the moon now. Bending the knees, stepping the feet apart. So remember, first thing we're going to do is turn the legs. We feel like we're turning the feet, but the whole legs are turning up here. We want to try and keep these hips in alignment. Try not to let them get too out of place. So reach the top body over the front leg. And then hand to the block and your right hand to the ceiling. Lay against the wall. And then bend the front knee. Good. Sneak this block out and you're going to take it as you reach it out. That back leg's going to naturally float up and then you're going to lay back against the wall. Turn, look up at one spot and smile at that spot. Use your block on the floor. But don't put all your weight into the front hand. Stretch out the same amount of energy into each limb. And then bend the front knee. Stretch back into that right foot. Come back to triangle. And then press into the back heel. We'll inhale, come back up. Turn your feet, step your feet together. Good. Nice, long, deep breaths. So sometimes in holding or standing poses, our body says, oh, that's a challenge. I'm going to need more breath. So instead of breathing faster, breathe deeper and longer. So now feel your heels on the wall, your hips, your shoulder blades, and the back of your head. And then step your feet away just a tiny little bit. Good. And then see if you can come forward to take your hips off the wall. Now the wall is there if we need it. You're going to stand on your right foot. Left knee bends. I'm your mirror, so you're doing the opposite to me. Left heel is going to come up and you're going to place that way up high inside the right foot. Press your foot and your leg together and take your hands together at your heart. And the mind might say, oh, but what if I fall? What if you don't fall? The wall is right there. You can lay back on it, just like you did in the other two poses if you need to. And then if you feel like growing up into a big, tall tree, go ahead. If you have a tight neck, you might keep your arms open, or you might close them because you're a pine tree. Are you a pine tree today, or are you an apple tree? What kind of tree are you today? Good. So we come out of our pose the same way we went in, just reverse everything. Releasing your hands, releasing your leg. Good, standing. Tadasana. So you could find the wall again and take a baby step away. If you want to challenge now your balance, maybe take a little further step away. Grow roots into the left foot, through the floor, down. Grab onto the earth below you now. Bend that right knee. We'll take that right heel all the way up, as high as you can. Remember, you never want to place that foot on the opposite knee. This would put too much pressure on the knee. You really don't want to be standing on the ankle. So you could stand on the foot, between the ankle and the knee, or come above the knee. And if you're practicing with the wall, then you could practice higher. Bring the foot higher. And then the hands come to the heart. Feel the lovely energy, the prana coming up through the tree. Up, 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 higher, higher, higher. Up into the very tips of the leaves as they reach towards that lovely morning sunshine. Grow. Growing, growing, growing in this pose. Good. Growing in your life. And then release, coming back down to the heart, releasing the hands, releasing the leg. Good. Standing Tadasana. All right, so now we're going to turn towards the wall. And I think for this one, we will turn our mats again. We'll make our mats a long ways. So once a month at least, well, once a week, we really practice our standing poses. So here we're going to stand towards the wall. We're going to put our hands up and place your chest on the wall and walk your feet away a little bit until your heels feel like they're getting light. And then drag your hands down and look up through your hands. Breathe. Press your chest into the wall, drag your fingers down. And then release, bring your hands down there just to your shoulders and walk away from the wall and see if you can make a little box shape with your body. Your feet can be slightly apart. Push that wall away until you feel like your arms are straight. Your legs are coming straight down out of your hips. Good. Now find your right foot and lift that off the floor. Now try not to lift your foot higher than your hips. Don't come way up here. Keep that right hip the same height as the left hip and then stretch the heel towards the center of the room. Push the wall away, lengthen your back. Good. Now this is practice for another warrior pose, Virabhadrasana 3, a balanced pose. But of course our friend, the wall, is helping today to make it nice and easy. You should feel this in the back of your left thigh. And then dropping that foot, keep your little box shape. Correct your little box shape. We want 90-degree angles. So does it feel slanted? Do your hands feel too high? Could your feet separate a little bit? Lift your sternum towards the wall, 90 degrees in the hips. Good. Now you're going to lift the opposite leg. Your left leg straight out, straight out. Straighten the knee, drop the left hip so it's the same height as the front hip. Make that back leg longer. See if you can touch the wall on the other side of the room. Push the wall in front of you away. Lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. And dropping the foot. Release, take a breath. And come back up. Walk towards the wall. Great stuff. Okay. So, see the way we can do our poses against the wall. Now we're going to do one more. We're going to put that heel against the wall, your right heel, left heel against the wall, and step your right foot out into the room. Keep your block handy. So you want to keep a little contact with that left foot against the wall. Hands on your hips. Look up. And on an exhale, we're going to hinge these hips and come forward with a flat back. And then come all the way forward, drop your hands down towards the floor. So here we could bring a block in there, and you're going to inhale, look up once, and exhale round and get your head to the block. Some people might be able to get their head to the floor. You want to try and get your head in underneath your body. Lengthen your back, lengthen your neck. Good. So we're not holding long, we just want to touch these poses and tickle the imagination to what the yoga can bring for me. Very nice. I'm coming back up. Great. Good. And stand in Tadasana, the first of the standing poses. Mountain pose. Standing. Good. Imagine that you were standing on the top of an amazingly beautiful mountain, and it's covered with snow, and you have bare feet, and you can feel your feet in the crunchy cold snow, as though you were breathing with your feet. Inhale that coolness all the way up into the body, and release. Okay, so now we're going to turn towards the wall, and we're going to get our block. And we're nearly done at the wall. We're going to put the block here like this. And we're going to catch the front corner of the block and put our elbows on the ground. Turn the toes, lift your knees and walk your feet in a little bit, and then stretch your heels towards the ground. And that's it. I'm just going to do that. Handstand would be out of the question. Yeah, okay, next week. Yeah. Okay, I have to confer with him. Okay, and release, come back out.
Okay to do for the beginning?
No. Probably not. Great, and then stand in Tadasana again. So we're just going to take our belt, and we're just going to do a little bit of work on our shoulders. We're going to hold the buckle in the right hand and slide your left hand along the belt. For a lot of people, this is the right distance when we hold it over our head. But for some of us with tight shoulders, we'd have to add a couple of inches to that. So now you're going to break that belt over your head. Break that belt. So don't torture yourself. If that's very tight, your elbows bend when you bring it back, you're going to give yourself more belt. So our goal is to bring it all the way back and tap our bottom. Keep tension in the belt, bring it over the head and tap the front of the body. Good. A few of them. Over and back. Good. And it's okay to give yourself more belt if it's very painful. But if it's very painful, it might be one of those poses that you need to do. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to turn around and show you what we want you to do the next one. Turn like this. And you're going to lift your right arm and pull it up towards the ceiling and pull the left hand down and away. Pull that belt apart. And then drop down and switch. Left hand up, right hand down. Pull the belt apart. And then maybe do 3 of them on each side. Hold for an inhale, pull the belt apart, and then move on the exhale. Good, really pull that belt apart. Good. And once you've done your 3 on each side, then you're going to go back to hold it over your head, tapping your bottom in front and back. Good. Maybe the arms have loosened up a little bit there. Okay. Great. Okay. And then drop that. And then come down this way, and you're going to grab your mat with your fingertips, grab it like this, and lift it up, and lift your elbows. Tear your mat. Tear that old mat apart. And then circle it out in front. But don't drop your elbows. Elbows same height as the shoulders. Keep tension in the mat. Good. Oh, lovely big circles over there. That's great. Good. Keep the tension. We're going to circle back the other way. Are you tearing that mat up? Good job. Almost there. We're going to pull it in, tear it in front of the shoulders, bring it down, tear it in front of the hips, and then drop it. Ooh, lovely. So we could go on, there's more to that sequence, but instead we're going to go back to the front of the room and we're going to bring our block. Going back over here. Lots of moving around. So this is one of those classes that most people will be able to do. Okay, most people. Some parts might be challenging, but the challenge is the part that maybe sparks the imagination. Okay, so here we're going to take our block and we're going to cover it over with the front of our mat like this. And bring it all the way flush to the very edge. And then we're going to kneel with our right knee and come onto your fingertips. Now this left knee is free off the ground and the left foot is free off the ground. And what we're going to do from here, we're not going to let that knee and foot touch the ground. We're lifting that left hip up and down. Off we go, up and down. Good. So left hip is moving up and down. I'm your mirror. And we're not doing a whole lot of this because we're just learning these. So you're scratching off any of the rust that's on that hip that's still on the block. Now we're going to circle our left hip. See if you can make a nice circle. Feel the sacroiliac joint getting in on all of this action. Good. So it's the hip that's on the block that starts to do the work. We're going to reverse that circle, go back the other way. So think about the hip making the circle. The knee is the driver, but the hip is doing the circle. All right, let's go up and down again. Straight up and down, straight up and down, up and down and up and down. Good. And then we're going to lift that knee out to the side and release. Come down and just sit on your heels and release. Did we do this one last week? Don't think we did. We should do this one every week. So shake out your fingers, because your fingers might be tight after doing that. And the right way is to be on the fingertips. So let's move the block over here. Now, sometimes when we're practicing our yoga, our mind might come up with and say things like, I don't like that. I don't recognize that. That feels wrong. It's just a little different. But all of these are a natural range of motion for the body. So it's all very natural. It's just maybe your mind has forgotten. So come onto your fingertips if you can. Now, if you had arthritis or painful wrists, it's okay to come down onto the palms of the hands. All right, now this right knee is off the ground and the right foot. And we're going to lift that right hip up and down, up and down, up and down. Good. So think about shining a precious piece of something inside of that left hip. Down the head of the femur. Shine it up, shine it up. So just doing a few. You can work up to doing a good few when you get used to doing this. So now make your circle with your right hip. Try to make it a smooth circle. Don't make it an oval or a triangle. Nice, smooth, roundy circle. Good. And then we'll circle back the other way. Go back the other way. Your lower back is saying, thank you so much for doing this. Good. Now we're going to go up and down, straight up and down, up and down, and up and down. Get nice and warm in there now on your left hip. Are you breathing? Are you feeling? Are you really experiencing the work that you're doing? Good. And then lift it up. Take that right knee out to the side. And then release. Come down. Turn your toes. Sit on your ankles. Good. Now the fingers should be stiff if you were doing that on your fingertips. We're going to spread out the fingers. We're going to stick our tongue out. Try to make your tongue touch your heart and turn your eyes up towards the inside of your forehead right here. Inhale 3 times, wildcat. And again, be wilder. Good. Even wilder than that. Stick your claws out. Good. Okay. All right. So now we're going to open our mat out. You guys are doing great. So that's really good. If you have sore throat or congestion, stick your tongue out as long as you can. Exhale out. Do it in your garden where there's nobody else around. All right. But don't frighten your own cat. The cat might get mad at you. We're going to come and we're going to sit like this. We have our belt. We have a block. Just keep both of them handy. And you might have a little pillow or a blanket. We're trying to reduce the amount of props we were using today so that you at home, you might not have a lot of yoga props. So just look around your house and see what you could use. So this is going to be our little bolster. And we're going to start here. We're going to take the inside of our left knee and pull it out to the side. So when I do the work, the hip stays relaxed. And I'm going to take this heel up into the opposite side. The heel is going to its own groin. And the foot's coming up like this. So I want to get over this leg. So what I'm going to do is get this bolster under this hip. Good. And then I'm going to use the belt. Reach the belt out, put it around the foot. Good. Now holding onto your belt. Start out with a kind of a twist. Your block might help you there. Going to get good alignment. See where you need your block. Give yourself as much belt as you want. Start out with a twist. So our goal is to bring this left rib cage around towards this right leg. Left ribs coming around. And you're going to keep them coming around as you then turn to come forward towards the leg. So if you're using a belt, you would inhale, lift, pull on the belt, belly on the thigh, and walk your hands down a bit. And then inhale, lift the next time, and exhale, walk your hands down the belt. And more, the belly will come to touch the thigh. Inhale, lift, exhale, walk down. Now, if this feels like you're getting crunched or your back is hurting, then you're just going to stay tall like this. And over time, the leg will stretch, the back will stretch, and you'll be able to come all the way down and lay on the leg. But you want to keep stretching out towards the foot, and that's Janu Sirsasana, head to foot, head to knee pose. And we're not sure if it's head to this knee or the head of that knee, but it's one of them. Okay, release and switch. So just straighten out both legs, come back to this one, Dandasana. We'll move our little bolster over to the other side. Take the inside of that right knee out to the side. Some of you may not need the bolster. If you don't need it, don't use it. Some of you may not need the block. We're going to take this right heel into the right groin. We're going to have our belt Ready, on the ready. We're going to inhale, lift, exhale, twist. So if you weren't going to use the belt, this is how you would do that. Stay tall, create the twist. This right rib cage now is moving in this direction. Imagine an arrow going over in that direction. And then you take this right hand and bring it down the outside of the leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, reach out. Good. So, and then if you were at this stage, you could bring this back hand down and hold the inside of the foot. But today we're learning, because we're beginners, we're going to use that belt. Inhale, lift. And exhale, walk your fingers down. Inhale, lift. Walk your fingers down. So think you're bringing that twist into the forward fold. So it's still a kind of a twist. This right rib cage coming around. This right leg is moving back in that direction. So there's this equal and opposite action. Inhale, lift. Exhale, walk the hands down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, walk the hand down. And just try as best you can to keep this belly on your thigh. And then when you feel like, okay, that's it, I can't go any further, then the last thing would be to drop the head. And then when we're ready to come out, lift your head, release. And a nice way is to hold on to the belt and slide the hands up to come out. Okay, Janu Sirsasana. And it's a very nice introspective pose. And of course it's meant to be held for much longer than that, but we're just doing our practice to learn how to get into the pose. And this is a nice way to get into this pose. Take a block and put it there behind your feet or your phone book or your big heavy book. You know those big huge books you bought for school but never opened? So let's take this around your block and just start out sitting really nice and tall. Nice and tall. Elbows are straight, back is straight, legs are straight. Take an inhale and walk your fingers down a little tiny bit, just as far as you think you can. Don't stress or strain over it. Just explore. Inhale, lift. And exhale, walk down a little bit. Now, around this part of your pose, your belly should be kissing your thighs. That's starting to happen. Then that's keeping your back more safe. Inhale, lift. And exhale, walk down. Good. So keep lifting the heart out in front. Keep that belly thigh contact. Pressing the legs down. We're lifting on the inhale. Walking down on the exhale. More and more belly thigh contact. Stretching the heart towards the legs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, walk down. Stop anywhere along the way that you feel you need to. Or keep going if you feel like you're okay. Every tiny little centimetre brings you closer to your goal. You don't have to use the block. You could be holding your feet here, laying on your legs. Belly thigh, belly thigh, belly thigh. And then to finally just drop your head and take a breath or two. And then lift the head. Find your belt, especially if you're learning. You're going to find your belt and pull on the belt to slide. Come back up. Good. We'll take that away. Now a good recovery position out of that. Don't jump out of that position. I'm going to come a little bit more forward. So don't jump out of your forward fold. We'll take our hands behind our back, fingers pointing towards the front of the mat. I'm going to push our heels down and lift the hips. Try and touch the floor with your toe tips and look behind you and then sit back down. Good. And release. All right. So when we're learning, we don't want to give you too much because sometimes when it's too much, you won't do it. But we do want to finish with one little back bend and with that nice little support system to do Setu Bandha on the blocks. Really nice way to finish. So we place our feet, we lay down. We're going to get a block. So you may not be able to put it in as high as this. This is the high point. You could put it in the mid place or the lowest place. But our goal is to get it in there under our pelvis. So come up high on your toes, lift your hips up as high as you can, and see if you can slide that block in. Don't let your knees fall apart. Stretch the knees towards the front of the mat. Take your hands and clasp them around the other side of the block. And then just rest your hips on the block. Open your heart. Gaze at one thing on the ceiling and breathe. And smile. Smile with your heart. Just feel how nice it is that you're still able to do your yoga. So I'm coming out, you stay Suthadhara. To come out, you just lift your hips up 3 times and then slide your block out and come down and release. But just if you are holding your pose at home, just notice how lucky you are that you're still able to do this lovely yoga. Press your heels down, lift your hips. And if any of our students from class are joining us here, we miss you, we love you, we'll all be back together again soon. Stay healthy, stay at a distance from each other, but only in the physical form. In the spiritual and loving form, we're all here still together. So now we're going to hold on to the block, lift the hips up 3 times, hold your block, lift your hips up and down, and then slide the block out and come back down nice and slowly. Good. Now here we're going to do a lovely nice pose. Soles of the feet together, drop the knees apart and clasp your hands over your head. Cross one wrist over the other and then take your hands over your head, stretch out, press your lower back down, drop your belly to the floor. Hold that and switch the cross of your hands. Stretch the hands out, squeeze the fingers together, drop your belly, press your lower back down, and then slowly release your hands. Take your hands down. You bring the knees together at the same time. So just tease them together with the fingertips. And then straighten one leg and drop your foot. Straighten the other leg and drop your foot out to the side. Turn your palms up. Relax. Release. We're moving into the most important pose now. Into Shavasana. Good. So feel your right arm into your right hand and fingertips. Look at it, feel it, breathe into it. Make sure that the whole right arm and the whole right hand is completely relaxed. And then come to the left side. Feel the left arm, the left hand, all the way out to the fingertips, the thumb, every little tiny particle of that left arm, completely relaxed. And move through your body like that, progressing the conscious relaxation. The right leg, the right foot, the left leg, the left foot. Allow yourself to be conscious, to be aware in every tiny little part of yourself. Relax your back, your upper back, your middle back, your lower back. Oh, take an extra few breaths into your lower back. Releasing, relaxing all that tension, all that worry. Feel like little portals had showed up in the body to release all of the tension out, dribbling it out and down and into the earth. What would it feel like if you could relax the muscles of your heart? Relax your heart. Really allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Everything's a little different in the world. Some of us are grieving the way life used to be. All the freedoms, the beaches are closed, the trails are closed. but nothing can close our memories. Our memories are not closed. You can lie in Shavasana for a little while longer, maybe, and just allow yourself to be somewhere beautiful that you've been before. Experience everything about it. What colour were the places there? What sounds? What scents? It's all in your memory bank. The beautiful places, the beautiful people. Their faces, their eyes, their smiles. Bring them all back to life inside of you. And if you can feel a hug inside you that maybe somebody gave you once, see, is it still alive? Breathe into it. And promise yourself that if you see them again, that you'll give that hug back when it's safe, when the virus is all gone and we can hold each other's hands, we can hug each other. All of this beautiful love that's building inside of us, ready to share. Slowly, start to move the fingers and the toes. And bending your knees, roll to your right side. And just pause there, just for a moment, checking in. How do you feel? Is there anything you need to let go of? Take a big deep breath now, and as you exhale, release anything at all that's not serving you. Any fear, any worries and tension, just leave it here. And then when you're ready, come back up into a comfortable cross-legged sitting place. Be comfortable now as you sit nice and tall, taking your hands together in front of your heart. Just press the hands lightly together and then press the hands lightly back towards the heart. We close our class with the sound of Om 3 times. Inhale. Om. In our face there are dozens of muscles, and when we are angry or afraid, those muscles hold a lot of tension. But if we know how to breathe in and be aware of them, and breathe out and smile to them, we can help them release that tension. Our face can be completely different after one in-breath and one out-breath. A smile can bring a miracle. Thich Nhat Hanh. Namaste.